Hey guys, have you ever stared at your retirement calculator and felt a pit in your stomach? That number it spits out, the one that tells you need $1 million, $1.2 million, or even more, might not be accurate at all. Most calculators are designed to be conservative, to scare you into saving more, working longer, and delaying the life you've been waiting for. But here's the truth. That number may have almost nothing to do with your real-life needs. Let me paint a picture. Imagine a retiree named David. For 3 years, he kept refreshing his online calculator, convinced he needed $1.2 million to retire comfortably. He tracked every hypothetical expense, ran every what-if scenario, and still the number kept climbing. Meanwhile, he had no idea that Social Security, something guaranteed, predictable, and inflation-protected, was already covering the bulk of his actual spending. He was planning for a problem that barely existed. And David isn't alone. Across America, millions are overestimating how much they need, spending their most energetic years chasing a number that may already be sufficient. This isn't just a small error. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars of unnecessary stress, delayed travel, postponed projects, and years of missed memories. People think they are behind, when in reality, they're already ahead. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly why your retirement calculator might be lying to you, the 3 biggest mistakes it makes, and how you can calculate your real retirement number. We'll cover why most tools ignore guaranteed income, why they overestimate spending, and how they misinterpret market risks. Before we dive in, I have a quick question for you. Do you trust your retirement calculator? Comment yes if you do, or no if you've ever felt it overestimates your needs. Your answer will help me see how many people are being misled, and how many are about to reclaim control over their retirement. Let's get right into it. There are 3 specific reasons your retirement calculator might be lying to you, and once you see them, it will completely change the way you think about your retirement. These aren't minor errors. They're fundamental assumptions baked into almost every tool millions of Americans rely on. The first reason is simple but overlooked. Your calculator may completely ignore Social Security or treat it as a minor bonus. Most calculators start with your savings and assume you need to cover everything from that alone. They don't account for guaranteed income that you've already earned over decades of work. That small oversight can inflate your retirement number by hundreds of thousands of dollars without you even realizing it. The second reason is even more subtle. Calculators overestimate how much you'll actually spend in retirement. They assume your lifestyle stays the same or even increases, factoring in a constant level of discretionary spending. They rarely consider the natural decline in spending that happens after the first 10 to 15 years of retirement, when work wardrobes, commuting costs, and high-energy hobbies become less necessary. People assume they'll always spend at the same pace, but reality tells a different story. Most retirees spend far less than these conservative models predict, leaving an enormous gap between the number on the screen and what is actually required. And the third reason? Most calculators assume the worst-case market returns possible. They are designed to survive the Great Depression, double-digit 1970s inflation, or market crashes that may never happen during your retirement window. While this creates a cushion, it also forces you to plan for a scenario that may never occur, inflating your target and creating fear. The tool assumes catastrophe as a baseline rather than reality. Here's why this matters. If your calculator is wrong in all 3 areas, you're not just off by a little. You could be off by hundreds of thousands of dollars, or even more. That gap manifests in your life in subtle ways. The extra years you think you need to work, postponed vacations, delayed hobbies, and opportunities you pass up because you're trying to meet an inflated number. You're sacrificing the years when you have the most energy, the most health, and the most freedom, all to chase a number that may already be more than sufficient. So, here's the plan. Over the next sections, we're going to break down each of these 3 mistakes in detail. You'll see how retirees like Earl, Frank, and David navigated these pitfalls, how the math really works when Social Security and real spending are considered, and how you can finally stop worrying about inflated targets. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to reclaim control of your retirement and how to calculate a number that truly fits your life. The first and most overlooked reason your retirement calculator is lying to you is Social Security, or rather, how it completely underestimates its role. Most calculators assume you'll fund your entire retirement from savings alone. They ignore the guaranteed income streams you've already earned over decades of work. That small oversight inflates your retirement number before you even start planning. Take Earl, a contractor in Ohio. When he hit 64, he had just under $300,000 saved. Every online calculator he tried said he was underprepared and should keep working, contribute more, and delay retirement. But Earl did something simple. He ran the numbers himself. His Social Security benefit was $2,100 per month, and his wife's part-time career earned her $1,300 per month. Combined, $3,400 a month, or $40,800 a year, almost entirely covering their actual expenses. The remaining gap? Just $5,200 annually. At a safe 4% withdrawal rate, that required only $130,000 in savings. Earl had $300,000, more than double what he needed. He retired comfortably at 64 without touching most of his savings. Or consider David and Sarah, a couple with $900,000 combined in retirement accounts. Their calculators kept suggesting $1.2 million as their target. But when they factored in guaranteed Social Security income, their real gap was just $17,600 per year. Even withdrawing that conservatively, their portfolio grew while they lived comfortably. By the time 25 years passed, they had an estate worth over $2.1 million, wealth they didn't even expect to accumulate, all because the calculators ignored the guaranteed portion of their income. Here's the psychological twist. When calculators exclude Social Security, they create unnecessary fear. People feel underprepared, delaying retirement, overworking, and oversaving. They miss out on trips, hobbies, and meaningful time with family, all while their wealth quietly compounds behind the scenes. Social Security isn't just a safety net, it's a foundational building block that makes much of your retirement already solved. The takeaway is simple. Start any honest retirement calculation by looking at your guaranteed income first. Social Security, pensions, or other stable sources aren't optional. They're part of the core structure. Once you account for them, the number your calculator spits out often drops dramatically. You can stop obsessing over a number inflated by omission and start planning your life around reality, not fear. The second reason your retirement calculator is lying to you is that it assumes you'll spend far more than you actually will. Most tools take your current income and multiply it by 70 to 80% to estimate retirement spending. On paper, that sounds reasonable. No commuting, no work wardrobe, fewer lunches out. Sure, expenses drop. But in reality, retirees rarely spend as much as these conservative models predict, especially once work obligations are gone and priorities shift. Let's use a metaphor. Imagine packing for a 2-week trip. You bring 14 pairs of underwear, then worry about long flights, potential lost luggage, or laundry delays, so you add 4 more. You leave with 18 pairs. Rational, right? Now here's the twist. In retirement, those extra pairs don't just sit there. They multiply. The cautious spending you've been practicing, The extra pairs you hold back from using allows your savings to grow quietly while you live modestly. That compounding effect is what turns careful retirees into accidental millionaires. Consider Frank, a regional sales manager, and his wife Linda. They had $1.3 million saved. Online calculators told them they needed more, but when they tracked actual expenses, housing, insurance, groceries, and discretionary spending, they discovered the gap between guaranteed income and real spending was small. Even with conservative withdrawals, their portfolio continued growing while they finally enjoyed life. Yet fear kept them saving, postponing travel, hobbies, and furniture projects they dreamed about for decades. Every month they refrained from spending, their wealth quietly multiplied. This isn't just math, it's psychology. People spend decades building the habit of saving. Switching to being a spender can feel like dismantling a lifelong identity. Every withdrawal triggers a feeling of loss, even if it's planned and reasonable. Calculators don't account for this behavioral reality. They assume spending is constant, aggressive, and fully rational. In truth, most retirees naturally underspend relative to the assumptions baked into these tools. The result? Overestimated retirement numbers, unnecessary stress, delayed freedom, and missed experiences. By understanding your actual spending patterns, tracking for 90 days, separating essential costs from discretionary ones, you can reclaim years of life while still growing wealth. You'll see that the calculator's inflated number is less a reflection of reality and more a reflection of extreme caution baked into the model. The lesson here is clear. Don't let the fear embedded in calculators dictate your life. Track your real spending, recognize the compounding power of underspending, and see how much freedom you've already built into your retirement plan. The third reason your retirement calculator might be lying to you is that it assumes the absolute worst-case market returns. Most calculators are built around catastrophic scenarios, retiring right before a major crash, during decades of double-digit inflation, or at the start of historically poor market decades. While this seems safe, it means you're planning your entire retirement around a reality that rarely happens all at once. Consider the 4% rule, the most widely cited conservative withdrawal strategy. It was created to survive every 30-year period in recorded U.S. market history, including the Great Depression and the inflation-heavy 1970s. That 4% was a floor designed for catastrophe, not an average scenario. In fact, the median retiree following a 4% safe withdrawal rate over a 30-year period often ends up with double or even 5 times their starting balance, not just preserving it. But calculators treat the worst-case baseline as the norm, inflating your retirement number and unnecessarily increasing fear. Take David and Sarah again. They had $900,000 in retirement accounts. Their calculators consistently recommended $1.2 million. But after factoring in Social Security and real spending, the actual gap was $17,600 per year. Even with a conservative portfolio growth assumption of 6%, they were able to withdraw this safely, covering all their needs while allowing the rest of the money to grow. Over 25 years, they projected an estate of over $2.1 million. Wealth accumulated quietly, all while living comfortably. They didn't chase the inflated number. They followed reality, and the results speak for themselves. The psychology here is critical. Fear drives over-saving. People hold back from enjoying life, postpone travel, avoid hobbies, and continue working longer than necessary, all because the calculator assumes catastrophe is your baseline. But the reality is that, statistically, these catastrophic scenarios are rare. Planning around them creates unnecessary stress, opportunity costs, and lost experiences. The result? Years of life traded for a number that may already be more than enough. Understanding this flips the script. Once you account for realistic market expectations, guaranteed income, and actual spending, the inflated number disappears. You can stop working longer than necessary, stop delaying dreams, and reclaim your retirement years while still growing your wealth. Planning with reality instead of fear allows you to enjoy the freedom retirement is supposed to give you, without sacrificing your portfolio or your sanity. Now that you understand the 3 main ways your retirement calculator might be lying to you, it's time to take control and calculate your real retirement number. The good news? It's much simpler than most people think, and you don't need a fancy financial advisor or complex software to do it. Step 1. Check your guaranteed income first. Log in to ssa.gov and pull your projected Social Security benefits at ages 62, 67, and 70. These numbers are guaranteed and inflation protected. They form the foundation of your retirement plan and will drastically reduce the amount you need to save from other sources. Many people underestimate this portion and overcomplicate the rest of their calculations. Step 2. Track your real spending for 90 days. Not your best guess, not your expected spending, but actual spending. Pull statements, receipts, and categorize every dollar. Separate essentials like housing, utilities, and insurance from discretionary items like travel, dining, or hobbies. This exercise not only gives clarity, but also reveals hidden patterns, like subscriptions you forgot about, or spending habits that don't add value. For example, Frank and Linda discovered they were spending far less than they assumed, leaving them with a portfolio that would grow faster than expected. Step 3. Calculate the gap. Subtract your guaranteed income from your actual annual spending. The remainder is what your portfolio truly needs to cover. Then divide that by a safe withdrawal rate. 4% is a common standard for long-term planning. That gives your actual retirement target, based on your life, not an inflated worst-case scenario. Finally, add a reasonable 20% buffer for unexpected events, not the 100% extra that many calculators suggest. Life is unpredictable, but over-preparing to the extreme wastes energy, time, and years that could be spent enjoying retirement. Even a modest buffer gives peace of mind, while keeping the numbers realistic. Following these steps, retirees like David, Sarah, Earl, and Frank were able to stop overworking, oversaving, and worrying unnecessarily. They reclaimed years of their life, pursued hobbies, traveled, and even generated extra income from small side projects, all while their portfolio quietly grew. The lesson is clear. With the right approach, retirement doesn't have to be a stressful chase for a number. It can be a path to freedom, confidence, and even unexpected wealth. By taking control of your inputs, understanding your guaranteed income, and separating real needs from assumptions, you can finally make your retirement plan reflect your life, not the calculator's worst-case scenario. To wrap everything up, let's recap. Your retirement calculator may be lying because it ignores guaranteed income like Social Security, overestimates spending, and assumes worst-case market returns. Each of these mistakes can dramatically inflate your number, creating fear and unnecessary stress. But the truth is, when you account for real spending, guaranteed income, and realistic market outcomes, your retirement number is likely far lower than the calculator suggests. The next step is in your hands. Log into your Social Security account, track your actual spending for 90 days, and calculate the true gap your portfolio needs to cover. Once you do this, you'll have a retirement number grounded in reality, not fear. You'll see the years of freedom, experiences, and opportunities you may have been delaying. If you're ready to finally stop chasing inflated numbers and start living the retirement you deserve, Comment plan below. Take these steps now, because the best person to take care of the old you is the young you today. Until the next video, peace.